Hi, this is Rosie Haneke from the Library of the Health Sciences with some guidance on finding scholarly literature through the library. Also known as scientific, academic, or peer-reviewed journals, scholarly journals are considered the gold standard of evidence because their articles have undergone the peer review process. That being said, that doesn't mean you can't find high-quality information outside of scholarly literature, but academic researchers typically publish their research findings in scholarly journals, so that's where we're going to look for evidence today. This is the topic that I chose for us to use as an example, preventing type 2 diabetes in Chicago. We want prevalence or other background data, information on the economic impact of the disease, the effectiveness of various policy approaches, as well as some specific examples. And we can find all but the first very easily in scholarly journals. Background data are usually more often found by going directly to the source. For example, a data set from the CDC, which would be on their website rather than in a scholarly journal. These are the scholarly databases I recommend that you use for your research for this course. These are the best bets for health policy research. I imagine you've used PubMed before, but the other two, PACE-Index and EconLit, might be new to you, so we're going to take a closer look at those. Let's review how to access these databases through the library. Starting here at uic.edu, I can just click on Library at the top of the page or bookmark library.uic.edu. Click on Databases A to Z for an alphabetical list of all of our databases. You see a link to PubMed right here, or you can go to Subject and Research Guides to find the Public Health Guide. So from this page, I'm just going to search for Public Health. And here's the Public Health Research Guide. This is a website I put together with recommended resources. So you see the first page here is public health databases, but there are also other tabs with lots of resources for you. You can use PubMed to find scientific evidence to back up your problem statement or to guide your policy alternative discussion. I'm not going to cover the basics of PubMed today, but if you'd like a refresher, you can pause this video and copy the URL at the bottom of the screen. That's an excellent tutorial from the National Library of Medicine. Or you can just do a Google search for PubMed tutorial and look for tutorials from nlm.nih.gov. I did want to mention one more advanced search technique that might help you when you're using PubMed, known as field tags. Field tags are codes placed at the end of your search terms in brackets. And they tell PubMed to search for those terms in a particular field. So a field would be a title or an abstract, etc. Another field is mesh terms. These are medical subject headings, which are terms assigned to articles in PubMed to indicate the major concepts. So here's an example of what that looks like. An example of an article from PubMed. Below that, there's no abstract, but beneath where the abstract would be is a list of mesh terms denoting the major concepts in this article. If you're having trouble narrowing your search down, for example, if you're swamped with clinical literature that isn't relevant to your policy discussion, try using the mesh terms and subheadings of mesh terms to target the literature. So let's take a look at how to do that. Starting here at the Public Health Research Guide, I'm going to click on the first database link, which is PubMed. From the PubMed homepage, I'm going to change this drop-down menu at the top from searching PubMed to searching mesh. This will search mesh, the mesh dictionary of terms. So I'm going to search for my term of interest, which is diabetes. And here's the mesh record for diabetes mellitus. I see the name of the term, a definition just under it, and then a number of additional options with checkboxes here. These are known as subheadings. So if I wanted to search for just economic discussions that relate to diabetes, I can check that economics box, or education, and so on. So I can click on Add to Search Builder on the right-hand side, and I get the term diabetes mellitus, subheading education, with the field tag mesh behind it. I could also, if I wanted to, beneath these subheadings, you'll see restrict to mesh major topic. If I choose that option, the field tag changes to MAJR, and I'll only find articles where this topic has been denoted as a major concept in the article, not just one concept covered by the article. I click Search PubMed and I get all of the articles tagged with diabetes education as a major concept, which is just 2 results. If I change that field tag to mesh, it goes from 2, it stayed at 2. But try playing around with those and see if you can improve your results and make them more targeted. So that's a very brief introduction to using mesh terms, which is an important way to make the most out of PubMed. If you'd like a longer walkthrough, just let me know. Next, let's look at 2 databases that might be new to you, PACE and EconLit. First, let's look at EconLit. As the name implies, this database specializes in economics literature, and it has a lot of journals that aren't covered by PubMed. So here I am back at the library homepage. Click on Databases A to Z and then E to find EconLit. And I'm going to search for sugar sweetened beverage taxes. And I'm going to write TAX with an asterisk, which will find tax, taxes, taxation, any variations on that root. So that search gives me 21 results. I can see here on the left, 18 come from scholarly journals, and 3 are working papers. So often in economics, research findings are published as working papers before they're published in scholarly journals. So you might be able to find some very recent, helpful research by looking at those. You can use the filters here on the left-hand side if you want to limit to just one of those, or if your results come from a very wide range of dates, you might want to narrow that down. Next, let's look at the PACE Index database. PACE, or Public Affairs Information Service Index, is a carefully selected database of scholarly articles and gray literature focusing on public policy and public affairs. So it's great for finding literature that discusses specific policies. Let's go to the databases A to Z list and then P, and it's the first option under P. I'm going to search for sugar sweetened beverage tax again, and I get 23 results. One thing you'll notice is that in PACE Index and EconLit, usually you'll have a much smaller number of results with your searches than you do in PubMed, but don't worry, that's completely normal. They're just smaller databases. You might notice that PACE Index and EconLit look very much alike. That's because they both come from this company, ProQuest. If you want to, you can search them both at the same time by selecting Change Databases up here at the top, and then select both of them. So I'm going to select EconLit, and PACE Index is already selected. So this gives me the combined searches of both databases, 44 results, which is a good way to save time with your search. I hope you find what you're looking for in these 3 databases. I encourage you to try them all out, but if you need help finding something, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email address is rhaneke@UIC. You can contact the General Library Helpline at libcref, or just post a message on the Library Research Help discussion board on your Blackboard course site.